Hey guys, it's Maymay, and if you remember last Saturday, we made this card together where we did the selective embossing using the embossing pens. This week, I'm going to show you how I did this background technique. A lot of you guys asked about that, and everybody had a different idea of what it looked like. Some said corrugated tin, some said it looked like rough cardboard, and some even said it looked like the panels of a Shiloh, and I agree with that. It's pretty cool. I actually was inspired by my tile floor in my kitchen. I have a very dark tile, and it's kind of variegated in color, and I wanted to try to do it. So I'll show you what I did. Now for the one that I made, I used this paper and I think it made a difference, and I'll show you why. This is a Nina collection of paper that we do carry in the store, and it comes just like this with the navy, the red, the kind of a craft, white and gray. It's beautiful paper, but it has a lined texture. Can you see that? So I don't know for sure that the paper had that much to do with it, but I do think that that texture in the paper might have made a difference. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same paper I used to show you how I achieved the exact look, and then I'm going to take some white smooth paper and do it on there and just see the difference so we can look at both of them. But I do know it works on that textured paper really well, and this paper is lovely. I love this whole pack. I use it constantly. So I'm going to start with the craft colored. This is the exact one I used in the original technique, and I think it turned out really pretty. Now this piece I have here is cut to 4 by 5 1/4, so it's the front of an A2 size card. And what I did was I put it into my scoreboard, okay, using my stylus here. Let me get this where you can see the whole thing. And the first thing I did was score in the middle of this piece. Now this is a 4-inch piece, so 2 is the middle, so I scored in the center at 2. Then I worked my way out, whatever dimension you'd like. I did it in an inch square, but you might want to do 1/2 inch or 3/4. So here's what I did. Here's my middle 2. I'm going to move out 1 inch and do another score line here, and then I'm going to move out 1 inch and do one here. So basically it's a score line every inch because I'm doing 1 inch squares. My tiles in my kitchen were 12 by 12, and I thought it'd be kind of neat to mimic that. But you could play with these score lines and put them anywhere you want. Now I'm going to turn this into my scoreboard, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now this is 5 1/2. Half of 5 1/2 is 2 5/8. So I'm going to go right here to the center and score. Okay, and then I'm going to come back 1 inch. Now, if you're concerned and you can't remember for sure, you don't want to count, just look. It's the 1/2 inch plus 1. So I'm going to come here, 1/2 inch plus 1. So this is 1 inch. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing, 1/2 inch plus 1. There's 1 inch. Now, on the ends, you won't get full inches, and that's okay. That's just like your tile floor. At the closest to your counters or the edges of the wall, it's not usually full tiles because they work from the center out. Okay, so again here, I'm going to go over to the 1/2 inch plus 1. See me having to look? You do it too. And we're going to go to 1/2 inch plus 1. There we go. Now you should have a pretty similar grid all the way around. So see how that works? This way we don't have to figure out where we should be on the ends. We just know by doing it this way. Now you see that I got out a piece of scrap paper, and we're going to start with the tan one first. And I have 3 different distress inks here. Now I actually don't remember the exact ones I used for the truck. I'll bring it back over. I'm not exactly sure, but I think I've pulled pretty close to these colors. But you just play around. Maybe you want a more pink background or a more red background. Just use what you got. All right, I'm going to start with the lightest color. Now with the ink pad, I'm just going to drag down the page. I'm not going to worry if I get full drags. I'm not going to worry if there's some color, a page left. That's what I want. Just a nice drag down the page. And see how I'm getting some lines and some stripes? I'm not worried about that. That's going to add to the look of the tile. What I really want is for the tile, that grid, to start popping through. And it will more and more as we do this. So there's my lightest color, and that was weathered wood. This color is brushed corduroy. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Just touch and drag. I just love how this looks. Now I got a little crooked on that one, so while it's still wet, I'm going to come back and drag just to kind of straighten out some of that. But that's just me wanting straight lines. If you don't care if you have straight lines, don't even worry about doing that. Now notice how the grid starts to show even more. The tile, it's beautiful. Now I'm going to let this dry for a second. One reason is this. I know that distress inks react with each other, meaning they change with liquid. So water can make this smear. Like if I were to spray this with water right now, all of this would smear out. And I know when I go to drag this darker color, I'm going to get some movement, but I find that I get less if I'll let the ink dry on the page before I do it. So that one was pretty wet, and I can see that it's still got a good shimmer to it. So I'm just going to let it dry, and we'll come back to it. Still not 100% dry, but I think it's going to work. Now I'm taking my darkest color, and this is where you decide just how dark you want to go. Totally up to you. Just going to drag this down the page, and I just love how it starts to appear. Isn't it beautiful? I just love it. Can you see how the texture of the paper shows through? That's what gives you that stripe inside of the tile. It's that texture paper. But I'm going to show you the difference by using the smooth paper too. We're going to look at that in just a second. So check that out. I'm going to bring it up close. Isn't that cool? Look how shiny because it's so wet, but I think it's beautiful. Now, once this is dry, if you don't like all of the tan that is showing, I actually like that because I like the movement and the texture. You could come back with your lightest color and do it again. Now, I'll caution you. If you don't like to mess up your ink pads, don't do it again because it will react to this. I don't really mind because I mess with my ink pads like this a lot, but if you have a problem with contaminating your ink pads, let it go. Do all your color at once. Okay, so I'm going to let this sit and dry good. We'll look at it in a few minutes. I'm going to bring the white paper over and let's see what happens. Let's do it exactly the same so we can compare the two. So, lightest color first. I'm going to touch and drag. I think it's going to be just as beautiful. You know I love to do these ink pad dragging techniques anyway. I think they're so pretty. Turn this around. Oh, I didn't start with the lightest color first. You see what I did? I took the lightest brown, but not my actual lightest color. So now I'm going to go in with this lightest color. Again, I don't mind messing my ink pads up. You might, so think about that, okay? So I'm going to drag this color in. Oh, look how pretty that is. I like it. That's pretty. I actually like the white very much. All right, so now let's add the darkest color. How beautiful is that? I like the white a lot. I thought that it wasn't going to work, but I actually think this is actually gorgeous. Look at that. We just did that together. I think that is beautiful. Look at that up close. Wow. I love how that looks. Hold it, wait. You know I couldn't stop at that, right? So I just had to play a little more. So after I filmed the video, I came back and I started to play more. Look at these colors. I picked up some of the brightest colors from my stash. Mustard seed, pink raspberry, cracked pistachio, and I knew you'd want to see what these look like. So let's start with the yellow on this one. I'm going to do the same process. This one is actually scored the very same way, and it's the white paper, and it is scored with the 1-inch squares. And so we're just going to see what we get. I just think this is so fun. I couldn't stop with just doing that one. Once I saw how well the white worked, I had to keep going. So that is the yellow. Now I'm going to do the pink and just see what we get. It's mixing with that yellow some, and I think that looks pretty cool. Imagine doing this with all of your favorite springy colors. That would be so pretty, right? And then let's do it with the green to add a little more on top. I love the 3 colors together, and I love how they start to blend and really turn into more colors than just 3. Because when you look at this now with the colors mixing together, it's totally more than 3 colors, and that looks amazing. So there's one. Let's keep trying. I can't stop right there. This one I took and did tiny, tiny grids. See that? And this time I'm going to drag this way instead of long ways, and we're going to use 3 different colors. This time I grabbed these 3, old paper, dried marigold, and weathered wood, and we're going to see how this looks. I'm going to start with the old paper, and we're going to drag it down. Again, I'm going in the opposite direction this time, just to change it up a little bit. You can see that my ink pad's a little dirty. I told you I don't mind contaminating them. I will do that from time to time. So you can see I've got another color mixed on this pad. And now let's do the blue. That'll be pretty. Weathered wood. It's kind of a blue. It is really in the blue family. Look at that. I could see this for all kinds of cards, all kinds of scrapbooking, all kinds of backgrounds. Now I'm going to do the last one, and this one is dried marigold. Oh, that's beautiful. And even if you didn't go all the way across, look, if you just did half, I can't stop though. It's too fun. You guys are going to be having fun with this in your craft room. I'm telling you, this is super fun. Look at that. Amazing. I love it. I just love how that one looks. Cute. All right. I didn't stop there. I just can't stop. This time I did more of a plaid sort of pattern, and really what I did was I just put this page in my scoreboard and just went crazy scoring any old way I wanted to. Now I need to get 3 new colors. This time I'm just doing blues. I'm going to do peacock feathers. I think I'm going to go back to the long way. I think that's really cool. So I'm going to go back this way, drag this down. Look at that. I love the different pattern of the scoring. That's really pretty. That looks awesome just like that. You could leave that just like that and it looks beautiful. Now let's add Salty Ocean. Look at that. Just a slight change, adding that darker blue. Plus I used a very light hand on that one. And then let's do this one. This is like developing photos. You remember snapping photos and having to wait on them to develop? This is exactly what that's like, sitting there not knowing what you're going to get. I love this. Oh, I love it. Look at that. So pretty. So there's that one. And did I stop there? No. We're going to do one more together. This one is just done with smaller tiles, but not as small as the first one I did. I kind of mixed them up, and I'm going to do the colors here kind of in a gray purple feel. I'm going to start with weathered wood on this one. I think I'll go sideways this way again. So weathered wood. Whoops. Look, it doesn't even matter. Just keep going. If you drop it or you slide it, just keep going. Don't quit. Super cool. Now I'm going to bring in this shaded lilac. That'll be pretty. Look at that purple. Oh, wow. So pretty. Look at my dirty fingers. I don't care. It's fun. It's fun, right? And then let's do a little hickory smoke. This could blow it all, but I'm being brave. Look at that extra color. That's pretty. I had to hold my breath at first because I was worried. This is super fun. If you ever just want to get in your craft room and maybe not craft for today, but just play a little bit, what a perfect way to sit down and make a whole bunch of different pages for your card making. Look how fun these are. Oh my goodness, let's take a look at each one of them. So I had to zoom out to show you all of them, but look how pretty these are. Everything from a very manly, masculine background to a very fun, bright, springy background. Even just a simple kind of weathered tile look. I just love this. I think this is a super fun way to make some super cool backgrounds for your cards. And then just add your embellishments on top like we did with this one, and you can go anywhere with this idea. Super fun. I want to see you guys making these so I can see what colors you pick. So please join our Facebook group, which is called Maymay Made It, and so did I. Make your backgrounds and share them with me. Even if you don't turn them into a card project, I just want to see the colors and the textures and the styles. Imagine this as well, which I think this will be pretty, and if you want to see this, tell me in the comments below. If we did the same technique with pages that we embossed in our Cuttlebug or in our embossing folders, imagine having a very floral, paisley background and doing this same technique and watching it develop that way. Let me know if you want to see me do that on camera. I think that would be gorgeous, and I'd love to see how it turns out. But here you go, guys. This is the technique. So for those of you who wanted to see this one, there it is. That's exactly how it went, and then we played and turned it into this. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy your Saturday, and I'll see you guys again on Tuesday for some more crafty goodness. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.